is Katie, the creator of KNF Design. I wanted to first thank you and welcome you to the 12 days of December. For today, we're back in my kitchen. Can you guess what we might be making? Soap. Well, we're not making soap, we're decorating soap. We're doing a melt and pour type soap. So I already have my soap base here. Now if you want, there's two different types of actually making soap, and that's a hot or a cold type soaps, and those deal with the lye, and they're way more complicated. We're going beginner friendly here. So this is a 5-pound thing of soap. I probably only needed 2, and 2's the basics, but I liked that it had mango, so I thought it would smell really nice because it was mango. It doesn't smell like mango at all. So if it didn't see the mango, I would have gone with the 2. I'm only gonna make 2 pounds worth today, so don't get the ginormous one like I did. Probably just go with the 2 unless you really like this and you want to go all for it. So there's that. You need a soap base. This one in particular came from Joann Fabrics. Michael's had some. There's some online. There's all different places you can get your soap. And there's different types. So there's the mango. I think I've seen an oat. Just all kinds of shea butters and things like that. So a lot of different options for that. You will need a way to cut your soap once it's done if you use this mold here. So this is kind of your typical one. It is a wooden box, and then it has a silicone mold that goes inside. So that way when it's done, you can take it out, flip it over, and then I will just be cutting it by hand. You can do a nice solid straight line, or they also have these fun shaped curved if you don't want your straight line, so whichever version you want to cut it with. Now if you don't want just to pour soap like this or to buy one of these, you can buy silicone molds. This one's a flower, and I'm gonna have a little flower thing of soap. And I have some different types. Bigger molds will probably be better, just so it's a little bit more to hold on to. But wouldn't that be cute to have a little flower sitting on your thing to wash your hands with? Once you start using it, the petals are going to be thin, so they'll probably disintegrate fairly quickly, so it won't last, but it'll look pretty for a little bit. Or you could leave it out and not use it. So I'm going to do at least one flower and this. And then I decided I'm going to play around. Instead of just pouring this into molds and being done, I'm also going to add my essential oil vanilla that we've made and been using here to make it smell a little bit. And then I thought it would be fun to add some colorants to it. Never tried them before, so we'll see how those go. Thought maybe do a little purple swirls throughout would be pretty. And then I was going to do a little decoration on top of this. Originally, for my decoration on top, I thought it'd be pretty to do some flower petals. I took some flower petals and let them air dry. And as I expected, they just kind of turned yucky and brown. So I also grabbed some leaves that would add some nice color to it. They're still a nice red. And then I also have this, which is supposed to preserve flowers. It never quite does. I mean, the yellow one's a little bit. This is a red one. And the center, it's not quite done yet, so the center is still a little wet. But as it's drying, it's turning that same yucky brown color. The yellow might be staying yellow. I could do some yellow on top. But I did buy a soap that had rose petals sprinkled on top. And as soon as I started using that, that moisture just started to rot the flowers out. So I'm going to avoid doing flowers or leaves or anything like that all together. And I think I might just do some oats. Yeah, the oats like you would eat with oatmeal, dried oats. I thought vanilla, dried oats, and then we'll do just a splash of color. Not the whole thing, just little swirl, maybe. So, and I just lost my toothpick. Oh, I have a wooden popsicle stick that I'm going to use to mix my colorant. I'm forgetting. Oh, and a spray bottle. You need a spray bottle at the end. This is a ginormous spray bottle. So smaller ones would work fine. It needs to have some alcohol in it. So once your soap is done, you can spray it to pop any extra bubbles. And then we'll use a double boiling technique as well. So you take a bigger pot and a smaller pot. Bigger pot has some water in it. You put the smaller pot in it, and then we'll put our soap. And we'll gradually heat this up on a low setting, stirring occasionally until it's all melted. Then we'll add our essential oil and some colorant, just kind of to your scent and color, depending kind of on what the instructions say on the back of yours and how much color you want. I'm just doing a little bit because I just want a little bit. And then once it's melted, you add your essential oil and your colorant, and then you pour it into your molds. You can also add like the oats or honey and different things like that as well, and mix it in before you pour it in. I'm going to sprinkle it on top. But yeah, so it's really not that difficult. You're really just melting this down and adding scents or colors and fun things to it as you want, and then pour it into your mold, and that's it. So not too bad. I'm going to start off by cutting this bad boy down. About 1-inch cubes would be good to melt. It doesn't have to be precise though. So I'm going to start cutting that up, and then we'll head over to the stove to melt it down. Again, this, I saw some of this info on Angela Palmer's website that got me the ideas to do this. She didn't mention colorants and stuff like that, but I will link her down below. And then again, we will make, once we cut our soap, a fun label for it, which you can find down below. Alright, I have my 2 pounds of soap in roughly 1-inch cubes here on my double boiler. Again, there's water in the bottom half and then the soap in the top half. This ended up getting really full, so we'll have to be really careful when we stir it here. And again, that's hot, so be careful with messing with this. Don't touch like the pots. Be careful when we pour it. All your typical safety things with dealing with heat. I did go ahead and get my essential oil vanilla in a container so it's easy to pour it when it's ready. So it said to do 20 to 60 drops per pound, which is equal to 1 to 3 tablespoons. So since my vanilla is kind of on the weaker side here, I went ahead and did, so since we have 2 pounds of soap, I did 6 tablespoons of the essential oil here. Got my alcohol in the spray bottle so it'll pop our bubbles. Stick to stir in the colorant, and all of our molds set up on a leveling table, so this is not needed, but it's kind of nice to have an even level surface for it to cool on. And we will have it cool overnight, and then you can look at it. So that's the nice thing with this, is that it doesn't take as long to set as the other methods, because it's essentially already made. You're just reshaping it. So I'm going to be careful and be slowly stirring this as we go. And then I also have my oats over here that I'm going to pour on top, just of this one. I don't think I'm going to add any colorants to these, just this one as well. And I'm interested to see how it captures all of these really small details. Quick update on our soap. It is melting fairly quickly, actually. So we still have a little ways to go. And try not to stir it too fast or too much so you don't get too many air bubbles in it. But we're gonna keep going. Alright, it looks like butter soap is all melted here. So I'm going to then add vanilla. I love the smell of vanilla. Mix that in. The heat is off. And we also want to shake and add just a little bit of our color. Although I don't want to do the color to these, so I'll wait and pour these first and then add my color. And I think it might be easier to pour in these if I have a little measuring thing. I may be covering up a little bit, so I'm just going to pour this into here and then that into there. Then with our extra, I'll add the color and pour it in here. If it starts to solidify on us, then we can just reheat it. Spray with alcohol. Pop those bubbles. And then we'll add our colorant here. It said on the label just 1 drop per time till you get your desired color, so. Here's one. Let's see if I can get swirls. That's a really pretty purple. I'll do one more dot. Try not to mix it too much. It. And then we're gonna add oats, and I'm just gonna put some right on top. Hopefully they'll float. They look like they're floating, so hopefully they stay floating. I'm being a little messy here. And then the nice thing with this melt and pour is you just have to wait overnight till you can unmold and look at your beautiful soap. Alright, I'm going to clean up this mess and leave this overnight. Our soap has been sitting overnight, so I think it is time to unmold it. There is a cat hair everywhere. I did want to note, so apparently this one here, I did not actually spray it with that alcohol. I must have missed it because this one got all the bumps, the bubbles. But this one here is nice and clean, so it got a nice spray with that alcohol. And I missed just a little piece there, but most of it's smooth. Let's mold the small guys first because I'm really excited to see what these flowers look like. So let me know, what do you think? Are they going to turn out well? Just go slow so you don't break any. That is gorgeous. Can you imagine having that sit on a sink to wash your hands with? It's almost too pretty to use. I thought about doing some coloring with it, coloring the soap, but I thought I'll just leave it that white, elegant look. There's that little rose. And now for a little guy. These would be absolutely beautiful as a gift. Put it in a nice clear type see-through little bag that you could make, and it would just be a really pretty gift. Or you could, even the petals, I don't know if you can see that, but even the petals have the texture. I really like these molds I got. They just have so much detail in them, and the soap, it just transferred it beautifully. Alright, now for a big one here. So here is what it looks like. I know that I have my cutting board ready. You can purchase a thing to put your soap in, and then it shows you exactly where to cut it. I forgot about needing one of those and don't have one, so I'm just going to cut it by hand and see how it goes. And I think because I used those other molds, my soap didn't get quite as tall as I probably would have liked it to. So I probably could have used a little bit more soap for that. Usually, you cut off the ends because the ends apparently don't look as nice. I don't think I used a whole lot of that colorant. I didn't want to mix it too much. It's a very light pink purple. There's just a little bit of purple here, and the oatmeal, some of it did sink as well to the bottom. So we have some on top, but some at the bottom as well. And little specks of our vanilla. So I'm going to cut this, and then we'll see what it looks like. So here's all of our soap. We do have our two little end pieces we cut off, and then they make a nice size soap. I think my mold was a little warped or something because it kind of went in on me. And I just thought after I cut all these, because they're a little bit shorter, I could have made more soap and then put like another color on top or something like that. But I didn't, so they're just this very faint purple. It didn't swirl, it just kind of changed it a light purple. So that's, but the oats still look kind of fun. And the flowers, I did end up doing the fun crinkle cut instead of the plain straight one. But that's how they turned out, and now we need to make the wrapping for it. Now I think about it, my wrapping is probably going to be way too big for this because I made it for a normal size soap, but we'll see how that goes. I might need to adjust a few things, but I'll leave yours like a normal size. the download down below for it. Also, I don't know if you can tell, it's a little oily at the top. I also realized I was supposed to do 3 teaspoons of my vanilla, not 3 tablespoons. So that's why they are a little bit like that. That's usually something my husband would do, not me, but I guess I was just new item. I don't know, I wasn't thinking and I used the wrong measurement, but that's okay. It's actually not super strong vanilla just because I think I needed to let mine sit a little bit longer, but I've mentioned that before. Alright, so let's go make the little wraps that go around these, and these are beautiful enough that they don't need anything. To make soap labels, you can either go to Cricut Design Space and upload your label there. Continue, we'll just add, and we want flat graphic for a print and cut, and upload to our canvas here. And this is what it would look like. You could also just cut this on a regular paper and cut it out by hand, or you could have your Cricut machine cut the lines for you as well, the shape, which is just this rectangle. It will wrap around, so this is the front, and then this goes in the back. And I would actually just cut this on a nice white cardstock, and then just apply at the end where it will attach to the other end with some glue. You could do a glue stick or just a white craft glue. You could even do double-sided tape, just a nice light coat so it's easy to take off, but not too difficult to do that. It'll just fall off all the time. Now, my bar of soap was pretty small. I ended up probably needing to use a little bit more, so I might need to shrink it a little bit to make it fit on mine since mine are small, but this should fit a normal size thing of soap. Speaking of sizes, Cricut does like to change our sizes on us, so it actually should be 8.5 inches by 1.5 inch. Some people do a 2-inch tall, but I thought that covered a lot of the soap. So I liked the 8.5 by 1.5 size. Zoom in here so we can see some of our detail. Now, if you did the VIP, then you'll get that one as well as this one. And this one lets you change the brand name, and then you can put your business information in there. You'll also get this one too. And then if you change any of your ingredients, so maybe you didn't use the mango sheer butter, you can put the one, you'll just go into Canva and change that. Again, you don't need a paid version of Canva, it is the free version. And I show you how to edit this in the lip balm day for those that have the VIP. For those that don't, you just get this one label for vanilla soap. And that is what it looks like. Let's change the background so we can actually see it a little better here. There we go. And so that's what our label will look like, and we will just cut it, print, and then cut it. Again, you can just print it and cut it by hand, or you could have your Cricut machine cut it for you. It's up to you. So if you do print it with your Cricut, you could get maybe 4 of these on a page. So it just gives you a rough estimate on how many you can make at once. Alright, so here are our soaps with our beautiful label. Now, my soaps are weird. They go inward. I think my mold might have been indented in and I didn't realize it, so it doesn't have that nice clean sharp edge. I wanted to just compare my little soap compared to a normal soap. So you could almost put 2 of mine on top to make one. So for that reason, I'm going to use this soap that we did not make, but it was just one I had. This is what a typical soap size should be like. And then we will just wrap a tag. We'll put some glue there, the back with all the wonderful ingredients, and the front, and it just looks nice and elegant. So originally I made it 8.5 inches wide, but I realized it was just a little bit short, so I made it 10. Then I realized, oh shoot, that's outside of Cricut's spacing, so it'll have a little sign that tells you just hit auto. It has a red icon on the right hand side, and it says just auto resize, which is like 9.9 something, so it's pretty close to the 10. But that seemed, so that 8.5 was just a little short for these. So I recommend testing it on just computer paper first so you don't waste your nicer, thicker paper. But this almost 10 seems to be a good size for a typical soap. And there you go. And that's a beautiful label on our soap, which should be this one, but that's okay. The main thing is that we have a beautiful label made, and I really like how it looks. It just makes it look professionally done. Now these here I would probably put in a clear container. I'm getting that glitter on me. I don't know how I feel about the glitter on soap. But that's how it came. It was a gift from a friend. But I really like this. These molds were really nice. You can feel even the texture from the petals, and they just look so elegant. So for these, I would package them in a little box and make it with some acetate. So it was like a clear window so you can see the beautiful flowers inside that are almost too cute and pretty to use. So you could use them as just decoration or actually functional use. But yeah, see, that's all you need is that little dot of glue, and it holds our soap beautifully. Hopefully your soap turns out better than even mine, but it was fun to make, and I'm excited to test these out and try them. They have just a nice faint vanilla scent to them, which is nice, and I never thought of doing the oatmeal, but it's just a little different texture. I tried to do a swirl, but mine just turned to a light purple color, which is still also pretty, but not too bad for a first time making soap, right? Especially these. These just, they turn out so beautiful and they're so easy, so don't be intimidated by these. I keep holding off because today's our last day. I hope you enjoyed these 12 days of crafting with me. I know I had a lot of fun, and hopefully you have a lot of fun crafts to make for the Christmas season or whatever holiday you celebrate. These could even be birthday gifts too. I would not complain to get a beautiful bar of soap with a nice logo label over them. So I hope you had fun throughout this 12 days of December event, and hopefully we'll do it again next year. Let me know down below if you had fun, what crafts you liked the best. Feel free to share them in the Facebook group and things like that. I love seeing what you create. Happy crafting. Until next time, bye for now.